what have you seen from your perspective? I'm always interested when a doctor, pays attention to what I do. And,
this is not a professional diagnosis.
No, I'm not looking for one either. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been following entrepreneurs in cars for a very long time, back when it was mostly about cars and money. I don't know much about your personal life, but I guess I could kind of put some of the pieces together by following that over the years. And I think that you went through a divorce, and I think that opened your eyes to some of the realities of the, let's say, family court system, some of the realities of single parenthood and dealing with the custody of children, dealing with the distribution of your assets, and kind of building back up. I think you probably found the red pill around the same time that I did. And I saw that really begin to infiltrate more and more into your content. And I could see, and I do this too in my own channel, I could see you kind of working things out in your videos. And I think, like most guys, or maybe even all guys, you went through a period that was more characterized as like the red pill rage. And I think you had to get that out of your system and go through that, because I think when the scales are pulled from your eyes, it can be painful. But what I have noticed is in the last few years, I think that you have a much more integrated, more balanced approach to the intersexual dynamics. And I think you're really like coming into your own in that sense. Like it feels really much more integrated.
Yeah. Like there's always that shock, I suppose, for guys when they stumble upon content like this, because it is revealing, it is exposing, it is sometimes painful, it is sometimes obvious to us, and we don't want to accept it. And I mean, I've more or less pulled away as much as possible from the manosphere, aka the manoswamp, as I like to call it now, and a lot of indulging or overindulging in, which what it seems a lot of guys can and seem to do. And I noticed you put a video out on your channel about the red pill, sort of offering a little bit of guidance and somewhat of a warning about it. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. The way I framed that in that video is that the red pill is almost like a spiritual journey, because like a spiritual journey, you probably won't end up the same person at the end of it than you started. And so in that video, I talk about two different like spiritual aphorisms that I think are very appropriate to the red pill. And one of them has to do with enlightenment. And there's this old joke about enlightenment that basically says, you want enlightenment? Better not start. Having started, better finish. So I think kind of the vibe there is, this is a really big ask. It's hard to walk the path towards enlightenment, and it probably means that you'll have to lose everything about the way your life used to be. So it's an extraordinary sacrifice. And if you walk a little bit along and you start to renounce your wealth, and you start to renounce the world, and you start to renounce relationships, and you stop there, well, that's the worst of both worlds, because you didn't actually pass through that renunciation process into the joy of enlightenment. You might as well have just stayed with all of your toys and women and your comfortable little life. So if you're going to start this process, you kind of have to see it through. And the metaphor that I extended to the red pill is that a lot of people take the red pill. Guys take the red pill usually when they have a heartbreak or some sort of rupture to their relationship. And they learn some things and it makes them really upset. And that's, in my opinion, when they stop halfway towards enlightenment. And I talk about how some guys, it sounds like the red pill is caught in their throat, like they've swallowed it, but they haven't really digested it yet. And it's sort of like, they're like sputtering in rage sometimes. And I know what that feels like. It's not a good place to stay. I've been angry enough in my life. I don't really enjoy experiencing that emotion. So I do what I can to learn my lessons, integrate, and move forward.
I see 4 distinct categories of like sources of information to sort of remedy and help guys sort of square away their mindset when it comes to dealing with relationships and women. And that's a big part of everybody's life. Like, you can pretend that it's not. You can unplug from it. You can go MGTOW, for a bit, sort of thing. But I don't think that any honest man can look at it and say, yeah, it's just no longer going to be a part of my life. It's always going to be a part of your life, whether you choose to engage in it or not. But I see watching human behavior as one aspect of it. I see the red pill, aka, the sources that come from the manoswamp, as a potential source of good information. I see evolutionary psychology as a good potential source of the information. I also see psychology as a good source of the information. And I think if you take from all of those areas and you sort of blend it up into something that works for you, you put it in a blender, you blend it up and you turn it into a shake sort of thing, and you sort of, take that. That's where you can sort of find the freedom that you need to move forward in life and operate in a frame or a mindset or a mind frame that lets you put yourself first. What do you think about that concept? Is that something that you've looked at?
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. I think that people should keep an open mind, especially if they're having a problem. Because if you're suffering from something for several weeks, several months, or even several years, if you could have solved it on your own, you would have solved it by now. So the solution is going to be located in a place you haven't looked yet, like by definition. So if you have been stuck, it really behooves you to keep an open mind, but to never trust anything unilaterally. Take everything with a grain of salt, test it out in the crucible of your own life. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't work, throw it out. This isn't about like creating a cult. It's not about creating a following. It's about trying to help folks. And the proof is in the pudding. So if you listen to something, whether it's you, me, or somebody else, and it works because you've given it the old college try, keep it and make it yours. Because a lot of this stuff that we talk about, we do it in our own way, but it's not entirely original either. So it's our own spin. It's our own integrated knowledge mixed with our own personal experience that some people find interesting or digestible, and then they can take it and make it their own. That's how it evolves.
Yeah, there's not a ton of new ideas out there these days. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here. And pinned down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.